So really the whole point for today was I know the whole Boardmaker platform kind of looks different than it has in the past. So I wasn't sure if anybody had anything specific that they really wanted to have addressed first, that they wanted to see, because I wanted to kind of knock that stuff out before I get into like the special features and like all the stuff you can do with it. I just want to make sure everybody has what they need to like fully meet their needs.
Carrie and I put something on the Jamboard together.
I saw that.
Today.
Yeah, and I'm going to post the Jamboard link here if you want to like post something while we're working here.
But like that, there's just some frustrations like that. Like we don't know, are they just working out glitches? Like where something like that, I was making pictures yesterday. I was trying to crop out like Daniel Tiger's mom, and I had the cut, but it wasn't actually letting me select. And then Carrie, you were saying all the time it just says loading. Like I think I figured out how to edit the symbol, but then nothing actually happened.
Yeah, my first thought with that is, did you update to the 7.0.3?
I mean, I did whatever. I fixed my work one. I can.
Okay, because because I went through in mine and I tried to basically recreate the problem, and I didn't. For me, it went right through. So my thought is maybe it just needs to be updated, because that's their answer for everything right now. If something's glitchy, if it's slow, it's that they're working on it, and to make sure you have the most recent update.
Rachel, did
we update it through self-service?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did, but I mean, just something like that is probably helpful. And then I know the way you taught me when I was making those yoga visuals, like you taught me, but then I had to like remember, and I was doing it with Liz. It was frustrating, but just showing the way that like when you group, I think that might be helpful for everyone.
Yeah,
you have to do the group button to even be able to add a second symbol to put words in. I mean that.
Oh yeah, like the group button. Yeah, I can definitely go over that real quick. You guys can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you in the self-service. I'm sure everybody probably knows this, but I'll just open it up real quick. If you haven't updated, go ahead and do that, because they say that is supposed to fix some of the problems that we've been seeing. So it'll open up here in the self-service, and then you can go to the apps and education link and then click reinstall, and that should be all you have to do. You'll see like it close out and like reopen, and if it doesn't look like it's updated, you can restart the computer. But hopefully, if stuff is like just not going through, try that first. All right, so Karen, you mentioned the group button, so I'm gonna open up
I was just saying, and then Liz, that was the other part of it, right? Like making sure there was text under each one. That was the part that, like, I know how to do it now. It's a little confusing.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna open up a activity here. I'm just gonna make it full screen. So
because basically what I'm saying, remember I was texting you guys about putting in the Spanish. It wouldn't allow me, like it had to be a group, and then you have to also make sure that the text, like there's an image where it just shows the image, and then there's the other symbol part where you can have text. So like it wasn't even letting me copy paste because I didn't have the one selected showing. Rachel will show you, but you have to sure you select the one that even allows text to be underneath. Otherwise that's why I was like not able to copy and paste.
Right. So if you're wanting to make a button that has Spanish and English, which I think would be really helpful for all of our classes, next to the button, there's a drop-down arrow. So if you click on that, it gives all the different button types, which I'll eventually go over with you guys what each of these do. But what Karen's referring to is the second option, which is a group button. So if you click on that, then you get your drawing tool, and that allows you to draw a group button, which means you can put multiple components in it. So then I'm just going to go over and I'm going to put symbols in here. And you guys, I'm sure have noticed by now that they have now categorized it, which is kind of helpful. If you're like making a thematic activity, you can click on the different folders and it kind of shows you all the different symbols. You don't have to go through and think of what goes with what. It kind of organizes it for you. All right, so I'm just going to put that in there. And then obviously you can adjust it. And then to get a Spanish symbol, you can click here, this little filter button, and then you can change it to Spanish. Oops, not Finnish, Spanish. And then I just like literally picked a random symbol. Juice is Hugo, right? In Spanish. So then you can just take the symbol and drag it in here. It'll tell you that you already have something here, but you can just click add to. And then what Karen's referring to is if you go to this properties tab, here under the content, it has just a picture, and that's basically showing where your text is. So if you click on this drop down, then you can decide if you want it above, below, to the left, to the right. So when you click on it, the text will come back, and then you can adjust the size.
And then it will allow you, once it's like that, then you can copy and paste from Google Translate.
Yeah, so if you are copying and pasting from Google Translate, Liz and I've talked to them on webinars, I've done a Q&A, and they keep telling me that you can copy and paste it, and they told me another way to do the
it worked. Once you put it like this, it worked when I was doing it.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to paste right into the button. Where I've been able to paste is right here in the symbol search.
No, where it said text right there, Rachel, where you just had it say text, I was able to paste into that.
Were you?
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. I haven't had that yet, but I don't know that I've tried it since I updated. So maybe now you can paste a Spanish.
I figured it out with you that day, but it took a lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah. Try to paste it here, but if not, I've always been able to paste it here in the symbol search. What were you going to say, Liz?
Do you have to then, if you want both English and Spanish, then have the two pictures in the one button?
No, you don't. So the whole concept of a group button is that you can basically put all of these components in one button. So I could put another shape if I wanted to. Or like if you'd want it, if let's say you have the English, you could just come here to label and make a text box and put that in there. And like, here's where you could put the Spanish. So I can delete the stuff out. If I made this like really big, I could put like my text box underneath it. And so I would have English and Spanish underneath it.
But Rachel, you should be able to click on that other one and change like where it says apple juice, where it says text, and then put the Spanish next to it. That's what, like where it says text apple juice on the side.
Yeah, do you usually do like a dash and put it?
And then you could put the Spanish right there. That's what I did with the yoga one. It just took playing with.
Right, okay.
You could put in Hugo.
Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely play like however you want. Like if you want to put them side by side, you can do that. Or like I said, the whole concept of a group button is that you can put multiple things in it. So if you want to do the symbol and then put another text box underneath, you can add a line to it. But yeah, the group button basically allows you to put all that you want in one button, which, I mean, I didn't even think about the concept of having it English and Spanish. That's a really good idea. So did that kind of go over what you were talking about, Karen, in terms of the group button?
I think you cleared it up because I'm just saying, like, even though you taught me, I still had to like go back and look so I could figure it out with Liz. So I just wanted everyone to see that because it was confusing.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously this looks a lot different than what we're used to. So, I mean, it's a lot of, that's why it's probably a good thing I'm recording this because it's a lot of trial and error and having to kind of go back and learn the ropes of it. Here, edit symbol, this is where you were talking about that it wouldn't edit, right?
Yeah, but maybe can you just, so you would just do, you could just cut it out and then press save and then it cuts it?
So for cropping, you would need the select tool. And then once you click on select, you have like your freestyle or like your square. So like, let's say I wanted to cut out the apple. I can select, I think it's called a lasso tool. And then you can attempt, I'm not very good at using this, but you can try to like draw around the apple. And then you have three options. So you can copy that if you wanted to paste it somewhere else in the symbol, paste, or you can click cut. And then cut it out.
Worked. Yeah, with me and Carrie, because Carrie was doing the fill, it wouldn't actually do anything.
Okay. Yeah, definitely make sure you're updated then. It's backwards from like how you typically crop, because like typically you like highlight and then you click enter and it crops it. But this, it's like you're cropping out like, or like when you're trying to crop something, you like basically highlight what you want, and yeah, it's a little different.
So you press the lasso and then you press cut and then it worked.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I was playing with it earlier. See, now I'm having the problem that you were.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can only do like one thing at a time. So I saved that. Now if I go back in, I wonder if it'll now let me do it.
Can you just erase it? With the eraser.
Yeah, you could definitely erase it. Yeah, that's another option. The only thing, like, and you can play around with the different like brush sizes. But even still, like I've got the 25 selected, and it's like, obviously you can get rid of it. It just takes time.
Rachel, is that skin tone thing pretty cool?
Yeah, obviously you would use that more with like symbols with like people. But yeah, you can just click on the one you want and it'll change the skin tone. So that's really cool. That kind of plays into our diversity.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting how because you saw that it worked with the lasso tool, but then
I didn't use the lasso, Carrie. We were just using the square, right?
and see now it worked. So I don't know. I would say if you see that again where it's not doing it, just like save or cancel and go back and do it again. I wonder if maybe there's a limit to how many things you can do before it makes you save. Maybe it's like a feature so you don't lose what you did. All right, so I'm just gonna, and you guys saw, I'm gonna go back into this. You saw that if you get done with something, you can click that return to dashboard. Oh, I played it. You can click return to dashboard and it'll take you back to that main menu. Has everybody been able to save so far?
Yep.
The saving is different than it was. Everybody's figured out how to save?
Yeah.
Okay. Printing, have you guys printed stuff? I mean, we're digital, so we're not printing quite as much. The printing is different than it's been in the past. There's like no such thing as a print button. You have to create PDF, which is kind of frustrating because like it's so more convenient to go to file print, but that's not an option. Here, location, you can kind of pick where you're saving it. So there is actually a documents folder on your computer that it saves it to, but you could change it to desktop if that's easier. I think some people have mentioned that they do that. So then if you choose, it's going to put it on your desktop. There's this button that says open after creating. I would highly recommend clicking that because then as soon as you click create, it'll open it right away. And then you can go to file and print it out. So it's not really hard. It's just like a couple extra clicks than it was in the past. But maybe the thought process behind that was you could have a PDF version on your computer that you can print and do, or email. Maybe they're trying to save paper, encourage people to put it in folders and stuff. So yeah. Okay, how can we copy and paste Spanish translations onto buttons? So we kind of already talked about that. Right, Liz? Yeah, so we covered that one. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that you've tried to do and it hasn't worked, or you wanted to see it again, you didn't quite remember how to do it? Now I can just jump into some of the other stuff I have.
I guess I was having a huge problem yesterday. I was making stuff with like cartoon characters and so many searches from the web, like when they don't, you click on them like and they don't actually go in. And is there any way to tell, or is it
We'll do that right now.
like if you're like I was doing specifically like for Thomas the Train or whatever, like if you type in, you know, like so many of them don't, even though they show up under symbols. Because I know there's the two ways to do the symbols. There's that way, that way, and then there's the way when you press enter into the button and do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, yeah. So I could like
one's
type
better.
Thomas the Train and hit enter and it would open the symbol of search.
I don't know if like the way you just did it maybe is better.
Yeah. So to answer your question about how they weren't all coming up, they mentioned this in one of the webinars I went to. I think they filtered the search so that they're all images you can use. But I think sometimes still images get through that like are copyrighted and can't, because there's been times that I've tried to put something in and I drag it and it's just like a white screen. So I'm thinking that it's probably copyrighted and it just didn't get filtered out. But yeah, on the web button, the search always seems to take a while, especially for the web search. And like when you're in a Google Meet, it's even worse. But yeah, I'll just drag this over.
I
and see
mean, do you think it's faster to just find one off the internet, save it to the desktop, and upload it sometimes?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, because then you have to go to My Media, and
Yeah.
then you click the Add Media button, and then that takes you to Boardmaker Online, where you then go through the process of putting it in. So it becomes more steps. It's probably better just to wait it out and wait for it to load, because it's always like 10, 15 seconds. It's not horrible. But yeah, like when you click Add Media, it'll then take you out of the program, and you have to go through Boardmaker Online, and it's kind of a hassle, to be honest.
So just basically expect that some of the images aren't going to work.
Yeah, if you're seeing that in there, it's probably just a copyrighted image that you don't have permission to use, and it just didn't get filtered out correctly. That's something that they're going to fix as they do updates and things. All right, I heard the chat go off. I thought. Oh,
I have a question.
I knew I heard a ding.
Yeah, so the only way, like if you wanted to upload your own image, it took me to the website and then I had to upload it into the website in order to use it in My Media. Is that the only way to get your own image? That like you can't do it within the program?
As far as I'm aware for right now, yeah, they're saying.
Okay.
Are you guys there? I lost internet connection for a sec. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. I was trying to go in and out. I was like, thought it was me.
No, I got a big message on my screen that says my internet connection was lost, so it might have been on my end. Yeah, if you click on My Media, yeah, right now they have you put it in Boardmaker Online, and then once it's in My Media, you can search for it and find it. But yeah, right now that's the only way. And just so everybody sees it, because we're talking about it, but just to show you, if you click on this Add Media button, you can see it's now taking me into Boardmaker Online. Sorry, I thought I was logged in here. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like, this is not totally convenient because, like, just now I had to log in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so then you would go into My Boardmaker, and then the My Media tab here is where, so I mean, honestly, what might be faster for you is like if you know you're making an activity and you know you have your pictures, before you even open up the editor, it's myboardmaker.com, or if you type Boardmaker online, it takes you there as well. Go in and like if you upload and choose files, you can do multiple files at once. I'm just gonna pick a couple. I don't know if I have a couple random screenshots here. Just throw those in there. So then you can put them all in at once. You can label them, you can symbolate them and upload. So I'm just going to.
Oh, so that's how you just go right into label.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna make it like quicker, instead of like clicking the My Media and going in and having like just before you even open up the editor, get all of your images in there. And then once you're ready to make the activity, they're all in there ready to go. Symbolate is what's going to allow it to come up in the search. So you want to make sure you check those boxes. And then I'm going to click upload. So now I should be able to go into here and like search for test. I might need to leave this and come back. That's the thing too, is there's a little bit of a processing time. I actually have like an appointment to like work one-on-one with somebody, so that I will certainly ask that, because I know that that's not the best use of our time to have to go in and do the symbols like that. All right, there we go. And so like Karen said, you can either click on the symbols tab to put in a symbol, or you can, like I can type test. Sorry, my computer's going slow with everything I have open. Yeah, so I will continue to play with that because I mean, you saw me go in and put them in there and now it's not coming up. So that is something for now, use that add media button, but I will try to figure out some more information about that and I'll report that to you guys at another session.
Thank you.
All right. So we talked about the My Media tab. Is there, what else can you guys think of that you wanted? Melinda, you've got your hand up.
Thanks. So I do a lot of like slideshow presentations and Word documents. And is there any way you can just copy the image on Boardmaker and put it in your presentation or your, you know, your Word document?
Yeah, so what's probably going to be the easiest is doing a screenshot. So you could do Command-Shift-4 and screenshot it, and then you can just drag it into your Word document. There may be a copy option, but I think it copies it only within Boardmaker Online. So like you could copy it in like one activity and then take it to the next one. But we'll try that right now, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oops. So if I open this up, so let's say I wanted to copy this image and put it in like a Google Doc or a Word doc. If you right click on some of these things, it gives you some options. So remember on a Mac, you can control click. At least I thought it would. There's supposed to be, it's supposed to, when you click the control click, it's supposed to give some drop down options. You could try Command C. That's like the default keyboard code for copying is Command C. So now I could come down here and do Command V and you can see it pasted it. So if the control click's not giving you the drop down options, just remember Command C and that'll copy it. But I think now if I were to go into like a Google Docs, it would, I don't think it's going to copy it. I think the idea is going to be to do a screenshot, but we'll just, while we're all here, we'll try it out. And I apologize. My computer is crawling with everything I've got open here. All right. So if I go to like file, or I mean edit, let's see, does it paste it? Oh no, see that's my link from earlier. So yeah, the copying itself just appears to be within Boardmaker Online. So if you did want that symbol, I'm gonna make it big. You can do a screenshot, which on a Mac is Command-Shift-4. And you can see now I've got this tool and then I can just hold down and drag and it made a screenshot, which will go to your desktop. So then, see if I can, sorry, I've got a ton of stuff on my desktop here. All right, looks like it's right here. I can just literally drag it in there. So I think to answer your question, the easiest way to get a Boardmaker symbol into like something outside of Boardmaker is going to be to do Command-Shift-4 and take the screenshot and then just drag it in there. And I actually did that with Laura in Seesaw. We worked on something together where like she took a bunch of screenshots in Boardmaker and then she dragged them into Seesaw. So that's something too. If you want to use the actual Boardmaker symbols, just screenshot them and drag them in there. Yep, Karen.
I was just peeking on Boardmaker Online. First of all, everything we've symbolated before this new edition in November will still be there, right?
That's my understanding. Okay. I mean, they keep saying nothing changed with online. It's just how you edit.
Yeah, because I symbolated up through November. So now, like Jaleesa and you showed, it's different. But I just looked on Boardmaker Online and I'm looking again. I don't see the wrench, like to be able to put stuff in MECC Teach Group.
Let's take a look there. So as you make activities, they're supposed to be syncing up.
Oh, yeah, it's still there. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just explaining that for anybody that maybe didn't know that yet. When you make an activity in the editor program, it should come up here under My Activities.
So that's
the thing you're wanting to put it in the MECC Teach group. Is that correct?
I just remembered you have to click on it and then it shows up. I couldn't remember if they had changed it. So we could still put stuff in MECC Teach group.
Yeah, you should be able
Yeah,
to.
you just have to click the activity and then the wrench comes up.
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
could still put stuff there.
Yep, you would just click on this wrench like you said. And then it gives you all of your settings, and then you can under here, you can check
I'm
it.
trying to remember, like, let's say I created an activity and then I put it in MECC Teach group, and then like Mary takes it and makes changes to it. Does it change it, or only like if I change it, it changes what's in MECC Teach group?
It's been a while since I've done that. I think
If the creator
I
changes
think you would need to be the one to change it, because she would like she would open it, but it would make like her own copy.
the copy, but if I
Yeah.
were to change it, it changes it in MECC Teach group too.
Yeah, like if it's something that people are going there to find to be able to print it, then you would want to be the one to make the changes so that when they pull it up to print it or play it, it's the most recent version. But like if they want to, I'll show you that.
Then they just they just add it and can make their own changes.
So for those that don't know, the MECC Teach group is under community, and you can go to my groups. You can even add each other too as friends, and then you can see the friends groups too. But if I click on MECC Teach group, it shows different activities that have been added. So if like I wanted to use this core board, I could click on it. And then you can see there's really not a lot of options right now. What gives you the ability to like play it? Well, if you wanted to just play it, you could click on play and it'll open it in the student center. But if you wanted to edit it, or if you wanted to print it for yourself, you would click the plus. And then as soon as you add it, then you have all your options. So you could try to print it, which will then take you into the PDF generator. You could email it to somebody. You could click here and it'll open the editor. But the key is clicking the plus sign, and then you have the ability to edit. But to answer your question, if like somebody wanted to come here and just print it, you would need to make sure you were the one that updated it.
But I guess like I go on Boardmaker, but not constantly. And now this is frustrating because like my winter yoga poses I made, all of those made it in, but then something I made yesterday on the desk, like I guess what I'm trying to say is stuff I made on the laptop is on, I think, on my Boardmaker online, but I made something yesterday at school and I'm not seeing it. I forget how to get it so that I can like put, like say I wanted to work on that today. I couldn't because it's on my desktop. I don't understand.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be syncing to my Boardmaker. They are aware that they have syncing issues. So that's actually something I had to go over in a session with you guys. So I'll go ahead and show you now. Sorry,
So
my
that's the issue. It's not, like it should work, but it's probably if I log in at school, I can work on it, but not here. Is that?
Yeah, so I want to show you guys a workaround for the syncing issue, so that because I obviously every Wednesday now we're going to be at home, and it is inconvenient that you don't have your school computer with you. So anytime you save, it goes to your computer as well. It's not just in Boardmaker or Boardmaker Online. It's on the computer. So you want to make sure that you're clicked out of everything. You should see the Finder at the top. If you go to Go and Documents, when you all installed Boardmaker 7 on your computer, it created a Boardmaker folder under Documents. So then if you click on that, it gives you some options in the drop-down. So then Activities is where all of your activities are stored. When you click on Activities, it opens up your email address folder. So if you click on that, it shows all of the activities that have been saved on that computer. So then you can drag it over to the desktop, or you could just get to it this way, put it in an email, put it in your drive, and then like, for example, I think I have a couple in my drive. You could open it up in the drive and it'll open it up in this editor. So maybe if it's something like really important that you want to be able to like edit at home and
I just realized
it up, maybe just try to remember to put it in the drive or to email it yourself, and then you'd have access to it at home.
Well, I emailed the PDF, but you're showing you have to email the actual.
If you want to be able to edit it, yeah, because like when you click on it, it'll open up the editor. I'll show you guys that.
So you found it from Documents, you click on it, and then you can put it in the drive.
Yeah, so you guys can create drive folders in the MECC Team drive, or if you want to, it might be easier than going through Boardmaker. If you want to share it with speech, or if you want to share it with social work, you can send it in an email, and maybe that's faster than having to go through like the share tool on Boardmaker.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I guess it's just a glitch right now that it didn't pop up on my Boardmaker online.
Yeah, they're aware of that. There's a lot of people when I sit in on these webinars that are complaining that their stuff's not syncing, and that's why they keep rolling out these updates, because that's what's supposed to be fixing it. But yeah, they are aware that it's not that people are having that issue. So that's why I wanted to make sure I showed you guys kind of how to get to it from your computer storage, because then that way you can always kind of have access to it other ways. But yeah, now you can see I'm here in my drive. So if I click on this, I can download it. So I downloaded it from my drive. Like, so let's pretend that I did this on my school on my desktop at school, and now I'm on my laptop. I got it out of the drive. Now it's here on my desktop. So if I click on that, now when I go into editor, might have to. So yeah, so now I had to close out of what I was in before, but now it's opening it in Boardmaker 7. And this file that I have is a very large file, which is why it's spinning like this. But yeah, you can see I downloaded it from my drive, and then I clicked on it and I was able to open it up now on my laptop. So maybe for right now, until that we are fully aware of how they've fixed the syncing issues, just get yourself in the habit of putting it in your drive, and then you're like double protected. You've got it in My Boardmaker and you've got it in the drive.
And can Melinda make like her whole presentation, or say we made one like in Boardmaker and have it, and then just present from there, like as interactive, play and go through each slide?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because right now I'm presenting in Boardmaker and I'm just sharing my whole screen.
You made.
Yeah, so I know Melinda, you have your hand up, so you probably have a question similar to this, but in Boardmaker,
I just forgot to lower my hand.
Presentation in here, you would click new page and you would just keep adding new pages. You can add a blank page, you can add a page from another activity that you have, or you can pick one of the templates. But yeah, if you wanted to make the presentation in here, you could just keep adding pages and then put it in play mode and then go through in Google Meet or whatever it is you're doing. So what is your question, Melinda? I saw you had your hand up.
No, I just forgot to take down my hand.
Oh, I thought I heard, there's something in the chat. I was like, I knew I heard a ding, and then I saw your hand.
No.
Oh, Liz had to go. Yeah, so we've been on about 30 minutes. I know when I did the survey, most people said they wanted like short and sweet sessions for Boardmaker. So like I said, the whole point of today was I knew you guys would have some questions, and I just wanted to kind of try to address what it is you guys were really struggling with right now before I dive into the more special features. So are there any other question that you guys can think of that that you really need to know to be able to meet your student needs, or you guys are feeling or as good as you can right now with it?
I mean, honestly, I was on Boardmaker yesterday. I felt less frustrated than I have in a long time.
Yeah, that 7.0.3 seems to be, I don't want to jinx it. I'm like knocking on my kitchen table, but it seems like a lot of their glitches are starting to get better. I think it's just such like a large, sophisticated program, and there was just a lot of kinks that they didn't account for. So just to keep you guys aware, there probably will be a couple more updates that come out just as they continue to finish completely getting all the kinks out. So you may need to go in self-service again and reinstall a couple more times, but hopefully soon we'll be finalized. Yeah, Carrie, I see your hand.
So I just updated mine, but it's still spinning.
Okay.
Not working when I hit the edit button.
Okay. Like I said, I have my notebook here. I'm going to make a note because I had a question that they couldn't answer in the Q&A, and so they wanted to make an appointment with me. So now I've got them like one-on-one, like our rep and somebody else. So I will make sure I specifically ask about that.
Okay, thank you.
And did you try like closing it out and going back in? Are you basically saying you can't do anything in the symbol editor?
Oh, probably not. Let me try to close out and go back in, I guess.
Yeah, because when we were doing it on here, I did one edit and it went fine, and then I tried to do something else and it kept spinning. So I don't know if there's like a 1 or 2 step limit that they want you to save so you don't lose your work. I've given up trying to think like Boardmaker.
It takes forever to load.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something people have expressed too, and their answer is basically that it's just such a sophisticated program and it's large. That's usually their answer.
Rachel, I'm just curious with the diversity and everything with the skin tones. Like, say you type in, like we've done different, when you're holding up fingers for math, we've done them different skin tones. Is there anything to specifically type in, like if you're looking for a specific skin tone, or do they usually just pop up all of them? Like if you type in boy, will it pop up like a bunch of colors of?
Yeah, I think it usually gives you some choice. Let's just try that though.
You know, if there's like a filter, or like we wanted a kid in a, you know, kid in a wheelchair, just to show more diversity. In
Now it's like after a while, it just gets like, okay, you've been on here a while. Like I'm overwhelmed because now I just got one of those error messages. Oops.
This doesn't look.
We're specifically like working on equity and diversity right now. It would be nice to,
Yeah, for sure.
see ways to make sure that we're encompassing a variety in our visuals.
Yeah, no, that symbol editor is really nice how they've done that, because then you really can truly individualize your symbols.
And
So
it
you
just
were
knows
saying-
the skin tone, or do you have to click like each part of the skin, like it knows to change all the skin if you click it?
Yeah, so we're gonna go through that. So boy, and like you said, it does give some diverse options off the bat. I feel like if you, as you go down farther, see, yeah, now you're getting into the wheelchair. Like you said. So the search does bring up quite a few options for you. But okay, let's just pick this one. Oh, and I still have one thing. I'm actually glad this happened. Way at the beginning, I showed you guys the group button. So now it's remembering that. So as you click on the drop down arrow, it'll draw the last button that you made. So like, let's say I made a group button, but then I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I click the drop down and go just a plain button again, because it always goes to the last one that you did. So that's helpful to know. Sorry, so we have our boy. We're gonna go to the properties tab and click edit symbol. Now skin tone, let's say I wanted to make it darker. You just,
Okay, so it didn't do the ears, it just did the face.
yeah, it basically selects the color for you, just like with the fill bucket. And then you kind of have to put it in.
Yeah, like you might have to do the arms and the legs.
Yeah. Or wait, there's this fill all. So let's see. Maybe this fill all. Okay. So this checkbox here at the bottom, that'll do the whole thing for you. So if you want the whole thing done, you can make sure you check that, select your color, and then it'll do the whole thing. So that makes it even faster. So yeah, this is a really cool option that we have in here now. All right, are there any other things you guys can think of that you wanted to ask about? All right, so then maybe we'll stop here because we've kind of covered quite a few things, and then next week I'll go over like this. We actually went over a couple of them already. So maybe next week I'll get into the different types of buttons that there are. If you do want to work on making some interactive activities, the buttons do kind of allow you to do some cool things. So we can dive into that next week.
Rachel, sorry to be taking over, but when we're on hybrid, I'm just curious, like, do we know, I know we have the laptop cart, but especially with COVID and sanitation, there's a lot we can assign to a student. I think I had shown some of you guys, I had used it, but like for an individual schedule on there, or to have the core board on there. Like, do we have enough laptops where we could potentially have a couple extras in our room during hybrid so that we could assign things to some students and use that?
Are you meaning like on the iPads and the Student Center app?
Yeah, like how you gave me the John Doe, and then I could have like a core board on there, and maybe the conscious discipline PDF, or like just things to pull up quickly, visuals to pull up quickly, not even necessarily interact, but possibly some interactive stuff, especially for hybrid. Are we allowed to check out? Like last year, I know we couldn't keep them in our room. You'd check them out, put them back at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I can't answer that right now. I mean, that's something I'm going to have to talk with Shannon and Robert about. I mean, I think the iPad cart should be available. and it'll be the same procedure, but we'll just need to make sure, obviously, that we're sanitizing the devices after they're used. I mean, that might get into more of a task force.
I guess that's where I'm thinking.
How we're gonna sanitarily do that.
That's where I don't know how that would work, but just it's kind of nice to be able to have like an extra one. Like let's just say there was a boy named Johnny that really needed the assistive stuff on there, and then we would just
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, if there's a need, I mean, I haven't been in the therapy office in a while, but I think that iPad card is still in there. So the iPads are available, and if there's a student need, then obviously the iPads can be used to meet a student need. But again, we'll just want to talk about how we want to sanitize those. Obviously, we'll want to wipe them down and maybe mark who's using what, and just so we're not spreading germs. But yeah, I mean, that's something. I mean, Carol, you could probably speak to that. That's something we could probably bring up at task force, is how we want to safely share iPad devices. I mean, it'll definitely be a sharing component. I mean, we're not going to be getting one-on-one devices, but
no, for sure. I mean, and obviously it's more screen time, but especially some of the students with special needs might be a little more motivated to do something on the iPad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and in one of my sessions, I can definitely go over how to assign to students and then how they access it on the iPad. Yeah, I mean, that does allow for a lot of individualization, and that's one of Boardmaker's key selling points, is that you do have the option to really individualize and assign things to specific students.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful I mean, even if some of us just used it with one child in our room that really needed it, it'd be good to do more with that.
I think in the task force folder in the drive, there is a spot for questions. You can throw that question on that document. About iPads.
Sorry, there's so many documents. Which one?
No, I know. That's why I made a folder on the team drive.
Okay.
It's task force, and then there's links to all those documents in that folder.
Well, the one specifically is called task force question.
Yes.
Okay, I'll put that in right now. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, we'll just want to make sure we keep them clean. We're not spreading germs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like alcohol sprays are, I believe, approved by Apple to be used on those, but we'll just obviously need to talk with maintenance and what they want us using on them and all of that good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, we'll stop here and kind of take in all the information, and we can meet up next week and go over some of the other things on the list. And obviously, if you guys run into anything during the week, let me know. I can jump on a phone call or on a meet and help you work through something. And continue to let me know if there's of the glitches, and I'll continue to relay it to them, and hopefully we'll be running smoothly soon. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for getting on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, you're welcome.